Today we are talking about Secure Act 2.0. Yes, it's not new software, but it is new for us, and it's a lot of impacts will be made to retirement accounts. Now, there were tons of little changes that went on with this new act, which was passed in December of 2022. We are not going to go through all of them. We're going to talk about the top 5 that could affect you. And I'm going to also tell you about the dates on these. Some of them are effective immediately. Some new rules do not take effect until 2024. Some are 2025. And there are even some laws that won't even happen until 2033. So listen up for those. Not all of them are immediate, but a lot of important things going on here. So number 1, probably the most talked about in financial circles, is the change to RMDs. What the heck's an RMD? Required minimum distribution. This is when the IRS says you have to take money out of your tax-deferred retirement accounts. So this would be 401ks and IRAs for most people, also 403bs, 457s for most people. These changing rules are going to tell you if you are talking to somebody who is keeping up to date with these, because a lot of things are changing. So the old rule used to be when you were 70 and a half, you had to start taking money out of your tax-deferred accounts. Recently, that changed to age 72, and we all went, oh, that's kind of cool. Well, it's moving again. Now it's changed to age 73, and check this out. In the year 2033, 10 years from now, that RMD age will be 75. So if you're already taking required minimum distributions, that means if you're age 72 or older, none of this affects you. You stay on the track that you're on. But if you're in your 60s right now, be aware, because you'll be getting into your 70s in the 2030s, and these new rules are going to affect you. What this means is as they increase the age, you don't have to take money out of your IRA or 401k for a couple more years. So some planners say, this is great. You get another 10 years to have those assets build. Fantastic. You have more freedom with how you want to do with your withdrawals. However, some planners are saying, hey, caution, this ain't so great. 10 years more growth inside an account means hopefully that it will grow and be larger. And that means you'll have to take more money out when that retired minimum sets in. But here's an interesting point from Ed Slott that I really liked. Let's not think about you. What about your heirs? What about those you leave behind? There's that new 10-year rule. Any inherited money from a 401k or an IRA, that has to be taken out on a 10-year time frame, regardless of how old your beneficiary is. So if you're leaving a huge IRA to a 30-year-old, used to be they could stretch that out over their lifetime and be a great gift. Not anymore. They have to take it all out in 10 years. So what you might actually be doing is leaving them what Ed Slott calls a tax time bomb. They have to take that out. And depending on how much is in there, they might be kicked into a higher tax bracket because of the amount that they have to take out each year. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. You have to think about what you're doing. Now, the solution behind this, possibly consider Roth Conversions. So Roth IRAs, there is no RMD, required minimum distribution. You are in control of how and when you take out your money from a Roth IRA. Pretty darn cool. So a Roth conversion means you take money from the tax-deferred account, IRA, 401k, and you convert it to Roth IRA funds. Now, this isn't for everybody all the time because you do have to pay taxes on the conversion. But after that happens, the growth is all tax-free and it eliminates that tax time bomb. So definitely something to consider. And if you have questions about how that affects you, please contact us. We'd love to talk you through that. Let's say this is all too confusing and you either forget or you mess up your RMD. Used to be the penalty for failing to take an RMD was 50% of the amount you didn't take. It was one of the biggest penalties in the IRS rules. Well, IRS kind of felt nice this time around. And with the new law, the penalty now is 25% of the amount you didn't take. But wait, there's more. The IRS also got really nice saying, okay, all right. So if you realize your mistake and you do take the correct RMD within 2 years following the failure, then the penalty is only 10%. So they've gotten a lot more lenient on this RMD rule. All right, that's a lot to cover with the first one. Let's go on to law number 2. This is super cool. If you are someone who is paying off student loans, and if you work for an employer with an employer matching retirement account, like a 401k, a 403b, or 457, okay, if that's the situation, then what happens is the employer can now put in the employer match to your retirement plan, even if you are not putting any money in. So it's really like employer gift more than employer match. What's happening is you are making payments on your student loans instead of putting money in the retirement plan, and the employer is making payments to your retirement plan. So it's a great way to be able to do both, the pay off debt and build retirement assets. I think it's really cool. This does not take effect until 2024. So you might be asking your employer about it now to kind of prepare for that and see if they're putting those provisions into your plan. Super cool. Law number 3. Let's talk about additional catch-up provisions to 401ks. So every year, the catch-up provision increases, right? So in 2022, it was $20,500. And then if you are over the age of 50, that's what we're talking of catch-up provision, you are allowed to put in an extra $6,500. And they've been increasing that for inflation. So this year, the new base is $22,500 and the catch-up is $7,500. So pretty cool. Every year, be sure you're aware of these maximums because they do increase. You can save money for more money for retirement. So in 2024, what's going to happen? We don't know. We have no idea. But the new law, Secure Act 2.0, says, okay, in 2025, what's going to happen is you can put in an additional amount if you're age 60 to 63. You can do 150% of that catch-up or 10,000, whichever is greater. Why did they say that? Because we don't know what's going to happen in 2024 or 2025. So that's kind of why they set that of kind of the bar. Hey, 10,000 is kind of where we're going here, or 150%, whichever is greater. So all of that means is be aware of the increasing limits and try to get to the max to build that engine inside your retirement account that will pay your paycheck when you retire. If you have more retirement questions, check out my webinar from last month where we talk about the 5 things to do for peaceful retirement. Let's move on to law number 4. So this affects step and simple plans for small business owners. This is for small business owners who haven't started a plan yet or have just started a plan, are starting a plan in 2023. So if you're self-employed, whether you have employees or not, we strongly consider that you make one of these types of employer retirement plans part of your business. You get tax breaks, your employees get retirement savings, and it's a really great message to your employees that you care about them, helps with employee retention. So what's the new rule? For companies fewer than 50 employees, new plans only, you get a tax credit for 100% of the cost to start up your plan. You also get a tax credit for the employer contributions that you put in. It's a maximum of $1,000 per employee, and it's for the first 5 plan years that you have that tax credit. So again, just make sure that you are looking at this if you're a small business owner. And if you just went, what? Please contact us so that we can help you walk through what your options might be on this great employee benefit. Finally, law number 5. I'm going to give a shout out to Phil. He talked about this last month. So check out his webinar on YouTube. What this involves is older, mature 529 plans that were created for the benefit of a child who is now older, maybe an adult, and didn't use all the funds for college, for higher education, for whatever reason. There are still funds there, but the child's an adult and probably doesn't need that anymore. There's a new opportunity to roll these funds from a 529 into a Roth IRA. Pretty cool for the right person that kind of fits into that slot. So if you're curious about that, check out Phil's webinar from last month. In conclusion, we keep on top of these legislative changes so that our clients know that they are working with advisors who are up to date and not giving advice on old rules. That helps you move from these questions to solutions. Moving from confusion to clarity is what we are all about here at Shadow Ridge.